I just want to say, like, the one thing you said about like you were kind of happy when you felt when you felt kind of sad, but it was like a normal sad. Like I honestly can like relate to that really heavy um, I did take medication and for me like it helped a lot. I can definitely see what you're saying. I took a different medication though. I took melatonin. Um,
Okay.
so it's like kind of a hormone. Um, but uh, but like I was kind of afraid of like taking it because in a way I like having the anxiety because it's part of who I am, and like I like feeling sad sometimes. Like I like
Mhm.
feeling like I feel like if I didn't have the anxiety, I would be like just like speaking before I think, if that makes sense. Like I would just be like not thinking about anything, like so so yeah, I can relate like super heavy with like how you said like you liked being sad in a way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's like the way you said it too is like it creates a sense of identity. And that's really what it is. It creates a sense of identity of like, this is me. Like, it's sorry, I can't go out. What's gonna be the excuse when you don't have anxiety anymore? Oh, sorry, I don't want to hang out with you guys. Like now we have to be vocal and tell people we don't want to hang out with them. Like,
Yeah.
fuck, you know? So it does, and it's not even just like that. Like, it's really when I wasn't sad, it was like I got comforted by this feeling also because if I had a good day, it's like again there was steps to my journey. So some days I'm like yeah, like it was just a regular sad day, but it wasn't suffering, right?
Mhm.
And then there was other days where like I had those at the beginning. When I started to have those days, I'm like, when is this gonna pop up? Like where's this anxiety,
Yeah.
where's this depression? It started, I liked it better when I was just sad because I wasn't walking on this line of like, oh maybe I'm gonna be happy. I didn't want to bullshit myself of like, oh I'm healing, this is gonna be great, and now I'm selling myself a dream. It was more painful when I didn't have like a month of, I wasn't sad for a month and I'm like, I'm healed, like I'm normal, and then all of a sudden boom, everything crashed. So I completely agree with that, and I think that it's so important to think as well though is like when we start to see that we're in that position, is it because we have a fear of success, right? And I learned this from some of my mentors is like we're so scared that we'll succeed.
Yep.
Like it's what if we could have been happy this whole time?
Yep.
I was like, for me, that was one of my big things is like, I was, when I started meditating this whole journey, it's like, I had this feeling of like, okay, not just, oh, I hope I get better. I was like, I'm gonna fucking be better because if not, I might die. It's like, no cap, you know what I mean? And it's like, I laugh about it, but it's so real. Like those that relate, you relate. It's like sometimes you gotta laugh it off because it was just that sense of, oh, like it feels so heavy that you don't even want to sit in that heaviness and explain the depth of it. You just want to laugh it off, but um yeah, I had to sit there and really think like, if I'm happy, like what would happy me be like?
Yeah.
What would that person be like? And then
Yep.
when I started to learn from these different people, I was like, what they say is like, first of all, it could be a fear of success. What if things go right? What are you going to do when everything goes right and your life's perfect, in your definition of perfect? All right. And then they would sit there and they would be like, well, if you want to this future you, right? Andy cuts his hair frequently, right? All these things of, okay, we shower more frequently to feel better. So when we do these things, what are we working towards? We don't know unless we write it out. So for me, the way I kind of like transitioned from that as well is I started writing out, what is this future Jaleesi going to be like when she's this happy girl, when she no longer has depression, anxiety? What will her focus be? What will my excuse be? Because in my head I'm like, I'm not gonna have anxiety soon. So what's my excuse gonna be when I don't want to hang out with friends? And these are things that now when you think from a healed perspective, because we gotta jump and how this future version of us is gonna speak to people when we're healed. What are we gonna say? So now it started being like, okay, my excuse would be this. And it's like these baby things that help us. I really fell into journaling very heavily too, creating myself. I had two journals. One where I talk about the dark aspects of myself, the dark things that are sad when I'm really in my feelings. I write in that journal. Um, and then when I'm in a good place or right when I wake up, I write what that future person is gonna be like because I don't want to. It's so easy to feel in bondage to anything out of repetition of being humans. So that bondage to sadness, it's like it's understandable and it's relatable, but we have a choice to what we want to reaffirm. We don't have a choice in what already happens, but we have a choice when we wake up the next day. Do we want to reaffirm the things that we previously had? It could be comforting, but healthy. And this is something I was really like confused about at first, and I still every day I work on it. For me, in terms of relationships, right, is healthy is still uncomfortable as fuck. It's so uncomfortable. If a guy came up to me and gave me roses and was like, "Wow, you're amazing," but it's your mindset, blah blah blah, and said all the things that were perfect to me, I would be like, what is he doing? Like, this guy's weird. Even if I think it's perfect, I would think it's so weird, and I would feel uncomfortable, and I would be awkward because even healthy is hard to accept. Like real, like I grew up in an abusive household. Like healthy is weird to me. Now, if you sit there and you roast me, why is that more relatable? Why am I more susceptible to somebody roasting me than someone genuinely complimenting me? You know what I mean? So I definitely agree. I definitely agree. It's like we get comforted by these things, but then we have this choice on if we want to do baby steps. I'm not saying to solve anything, but like baby steps and which way we want to go. It's scary regardless. And that's what I realized is like this life is scary, but it's the yin and the yang, you know?
Roasting is that colonial culture.
Talking like when you're talking about how like the fear of success, we always think about it's always the fear of failure. It's always the fear of failure. But when I learned from you and other people from when I was like back in the past, we learned like what is the actual meaning. Like people are not that they're not that fearful about failure. They're more fearful of success. Just the reason why, because I can believe it. Like when I analyze it, when I'm like, I have fear of being successful because when I have a perfect day, I'm like, okay, something is about to go wrong soon because there's no way everything is going good. And we don't get to that point of realization like, damn, we should be grateful for those days that we have that feel very perfect for us because we are feeling ourselves. But you're always like hoping for that bad thing to happen to you for no reason because you are just expecting it. Your body is expecting it because of all that habit, all that trauma, all that has been going on in the past. Be like, yo, when it's gonna happen? Like you telling your body, hey, it's 5 o'clock. Come on. But it's just like you're having such a good day because you're in the mood, you're feeling yourself, and it's just like when you think about, man, what if I'm successful? And not talking about like, oh, I have money, I have this. It's like, what if I'm successful of being happy? What if today I wake up, I go to the gym, I play basketball with my brother, and I go and just have like a very productive day? What is all that? And you think about that, and you go thinking like, there's no way. There's no way I'm gonna wake up like shit. And you just like putting yourself to like fail because you think you cannot succeed. And that's insane to think about.
Amen. and I'm very appreciative of everybody just sharing because this topic is you're putting a vulnerable spot sharing these types of conversation. So I appreciate Christian, Dylan, and Michael, and even you, Jaleesa, to open up about this topic. And and you could tell me if I'm doing the right thing because I've helped a little bit. I've been helping my brother a little bit with it, and one thing that I've been doing is like small things like when we go out and there's like an awkward interaction with my brother, he gets so much anxiety from it, and I try to tell him like, look, it's normal, it happens. Like and I would share a story of like something similar that happened to me, like how it happened to him, and it's completely normal. Trying to reassure him that, dude, you're not the only one that that's going through this. A whole bunch of people, it's normal, and try to normalize it. And that's something that I've been like slowly doing, and just I'm doing small things to help him without him even noticing. So like one reason why I started this podcast is it was for him as well. It's for him to be well spoken, and like I tell him all the time he has so much potential, and I've seen it. When he wants something, there is nothing that can stop this man. Not even Thanos with all the freaking six ring or whatever the six rings. Like this man, he is so dedicated. When he wanted his computer, he, excuse me, he would work and he would grind. He would he did